Hi friends, my name is Kritzy and I am an international boudoir photographer. Today I am going to share with you tips on how you can be a destination boudoir photographer as well. You ready? Let's go.
You do things to me that I just can't describe. The way you say my name just makes me tremble deep inside. I wanna feel your touch and get enough of your sweet love, although I tried.
So I'm going to share with you today some tips on how you can also be a destination boudoir photographer. I know that it sounds so fun and lucrative, but I also have to warn you that having to travel all the time for work can be very stressful. It can be just a lot of work. So definitely be careful what you wish for. So I have a love-hate relationship with it because I really do love to travel. I love going all over. I love meeting new people. I really do love it, but I also love being at home, and sometimes I just miss being at home and being able to like sleep in my own bed. But so anyway, let's get into it. So the first thing that you really want to think about when you're doing a destination boudoir session, you want to think about booking ahead and making sure that you arrive ahead of time, just because you don't want to arrive the same day of your shoot, just because what if your flight is delayed, or if you're driving, what if, something happens, there's an accident on the highway and you're not able to get through and you're delayed for a few hours. So definitely think about that. You want to arrive early just to make sure that everything is covered. Another thing that you want to think about is, what are your costs of doing destination boudoir shoots? So does it cost you more to travel? Does it cost you more for the location? So even if you're renting locations in your hometown where you shoot the most, it may be more expensive in some of the other towns that you're planning on going to. So say you decide you want to shoot in San Francisco, and San Francisco is really expensive. So you definitely want to plan for that. The hair and makeup artists in San Francisco are also more expensive even than the hair and makeup artist in New York. So that's just something else that you want to plan for, like how much would it cost. So you definitely have to add this in your cost that you're charging your clients. So just think about this ahead of time when you're planning to advertise to clients in certain cities. So we'll talk about the marketing and advertising part in a bit. So first, let me talk about insurance. So having insurance on your equipment is very important when you're traveling, just because if you lose something or something gets broken, so say you have, even if you have it in your carry-on and they decide that you have to check it at the gate and they're throwing it around and something gets broken. This has happened to me before, so definitely make sure you have insurance on all of your stuff. Another thing is knowing your cost of goods. When you're doing destination boudoir, your cost does go up a little higher just because you are then shipping everything to your clients instead of having them come pick it up from you. So that cost can be a bit more because you want to insure it. You also want to have a signature release on it. The signature release is really important only because you want to make sure that they get it and you can see that somebody signed for it. But I've even had cases where like somebody signed for it and then they put it somewhere and then the client was like, I never got it. And then I had to tell them who signed for it, and they're like, oh, that's my neighbor, and their neighbor had it in their house the whole time and just forgot to tell them about it. So you definitely want to make sure you include that signature release just so you know that they got their package. Another thing is checking out the hotels in advance and making sure you're getting a hotel that is the quality that you expect or the room size that you expect. I can tell you that there's a lot of hotel sites that are very sneaky, and they actually will Photoshop the photos to make it look bigger than it really is. I always look for hotels that actually say the room size. So it may say that it's like 300 square feet. So that's what I'm looking for instead of the hotels that don't list the size, because you never know what you're going to get. And trust me, you want to have a room that you can move around in. You don't want to go in and it's like a little tiny shoebox, which I've had that happen to me before. I didn't do my research. This was back in the beginning when I first started doing Destination Boudoir, and I booked this beautiful hotel that was so nice, and the lobby, everything, it was gorgeous. And then I walk into the room and I open the door, and the door literally hits the bed. They had a king size bed in this tiny little room that had this much space on either side of the bed. It was totally crazy, but I made it work and everything turned out okay. But I was very frustrated in the beginning when I found out how tiny the room was. Another thing to be cautious about when you're booking rooms, especially in some of the bigger cities, is making sure that you have a city view and not a back alley view, because sometimes the back alley can mean that there's another building right out the window. So if you shoot natural light, this is really important, just because you may open the curtains and see there's a brick wall right there because there's a building right beside it. And this has also happened to me before. But luckily, I don't only shoot with natural light, so I had my lights with me and I made it work. But still, be prepared. Make sure, even if you do shoot natural light and you aren't super experienced with off-camera flash, I would definitely try to pick up a little bit of off-camera flash lighting, just so if anything like this ever happens to you. Another thing too is when you're traveling, you have to be prepared for so many other things, especially like rainstorms or, dark, moody light. So say you check into a hotel and it's just really dark. Even though they have big windows, it may just be darker because the buildings are closer by, or it may be a lower floor. So some keys that I always look for are higher floors, bigger windows, and also that it's facing the city. So definitely do your research. I'm telling you, it will save you a lot of heartache in the end, and you'll end up with a great location. You can also ask other photographers that you know that live in these cities. You can join, there's lots of Facebook groups for different cities that you could pop in there and ask them, like, hey, what location would you recommend? Because they're probably going to know the best locations that they've shot in before, even if they're just a wedding photographer, because a lot of brides will book hotels to do getting ready before their wedding. So some photographers will know about these locations as well. So let's talk about marketing. So how do I get these clients in other cities? So I do Google marketing, I do Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing. So I do pay for ads, and I do targeted marketing to different people that are in different cities. So it does take some work, and you do have to spend some money, but it's worth it. So in the beginning, what I first started doing is I just started telling everybody and their brother that I wanted to do destination weddings and boudoir, and now I mostly focus on destination boudoir. But just telling your friends and even your family that you want to work in other cities. Everybody knows somebody that lives in another city. So say you have a cousin that lives in Boston and you really want to shoot in Boston, then you would tell your cousin, hey, I want to shoot there. Will you help me spread the word and see if you have any friends that would like to do a photo shoot with me? And this is just how you can do this. And you can do model calls in other cities. There's so many things that you can do to market. Another thing is reaching out to other businesses that are in cities that you want to shoot in and asking them for collaborations. Basically like lingerie shops. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I love your brand. I really would like to collaborate with you. What if we did like a mini shoot in your sweet little store, and I'll give the clients a discount, and hopefully they'll buy things from you as well. So, there's so many different ways that you can do it. You just have to kind of research and find the people that would be great for you to work with and go from there. So let me know if you have any questions. I know that was kind of long, and I don't know if I touched on every single thing. So if I didn't and you have questions, just ask me below in the comments, and I'm happy to answer. I'd love to hear what you think, and if you have anything else that you would like for me to share here, you can also put that in the comments, and I hope that you will subscribe and click that bell so you can see future videos. And then also check me out on Instagram. So thanks so much. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.